Hi everyone, welcome back to the Nature Patch. My name is Robyn and thank you for joining in on another video, or if it's your first time here, hello and welcome. I'm going to be taking you on a really peaceful and calming garden tour today. I wanted to take you around and show you what the garden is looking like. I'm filming this in the first week of February, but this is going to be kind of showing you what the garden was basically looking like throughout the month of January and coming into early February now. I saw Danny from Happy Farms do a similar kind of video to this and I wanted to do one as well. I really love watching garden tours a lot of the time because they do calm me down, and who doesn't love learning about plants and taking you around someone else's garden. I know I'm a very nosy person and love to have a little bit of a sticky beak at other people's gardens, so I'm giving you the chance to have a look at mine today. Make sure you grab a cup of tea or coffee or whatever beverage that you desire. Watching this video, I'm opting for a beautiful Earl Grey tea today. It's becoming one of my favourite drinks to have in the afternoon, and I'm very thankful that I can actually drink it outside this afternoon and not be boiling hot because it is beautiful and cool this afternoon. Southeast Queensland has had quite a bit of rain over the past few days, which is also why I wanted to hold off by filming, because you can see the garden in all of its glory, all nice and lush and green. Make sure to give this video a like if you like garden tours or you like this kind of content, and definitely subscribe if you would like to see some more videos like this. It really helps me out to know what videos do better and what you all would like to see as well. So I am going to walk you through the garden behind me at the moment. This garden I have been planting over the past couple of weeks, and it has been a little bit challenging to get it started, and that's just because we have really poor soil around this area, or poor soil in terms of a gardener's ideal soil. It's great for planting natives. It's very granitic, and a lot of the eucalypts, as you can see behind me, really love growing in this kind of soil, but growing vegetables can be a little bit challenging. So I'll turn you around and walk you through what I have planted in this garden. So one of the aims for this garden here was to basically grow as much food as possible. I'm not too sure how long we're going to be living in this area, but I wanted to make the most of the space that we do have and share with you, no matter how poor the soil is, that you can end up growing your own food. So I have applied permaculture principles to this garden here to be able to capture a lot of the nutrients that comes down, so to maintain a lot of water in the area through different contours. I've also changed the method of how I plant a lot of these plants by digging really wide holes rather than deep holes, just because it does get super rocky down below. So I want the plant roots to be able to spread out as much as possible while we establish the soil in this area. And I've also really heavily mulched the area as well to really just maintain as much moisture as possible. So I have quite a few different things growing, and I'm trying to establish it more as a food forest, so trying to maximize as much space as I have in this area to be able to grow as much as I can. And that takes a while, I'm very aware of that, but I wanted to start now so that this garden can continue being a veggie garden for years to come. So the first thing that we planted in here was some corn. We had a few issues just because there was a little bit of spraying going on around the area that, you know, we've talked about that now, and I don't think that'll happen again, but unfortunately some of the pesticide/herbicide that was used did kind of affect that corn crop, so I'm not too sure how well it's going to grow. It was really a shame because I was really excited to get another corn crop, but I'm not too sure how well it's going to go. The plants are just a little bit stunted, and they just seem to have quite a bit of damage from when there was spray around them. But that doesn't matter too much. Even if we don't get any corn forming, I'll still cut it back and chop and drop it to add a bit more organic matter into the area. Coming up from the corn crop, I have behind me a row of zucchinis. So I have planted both golden zucchinis here and the Ronda Denise kind of little small ball zucchinis. I'm super excited to see how they go. I've never grown the Ronda Denise before. The golden zucchinis are definitely one of my favorites to grow, and I've shared in some previous videos of what they look like and also what they taste like. Zucchinis are one of my favorite things to grow. They do like really high nutrients, so I have added quite a bit of horse manure to that area, so hopefully they enjoy that. And then around the zucchinis I've also planted a few different flowers, including some straw flowers and some cosmos and sunflowers as well. Then moving up from the zucchinis, we have a row of okra, as well as intermingled with some other smaller plants such as capsicums and jalapenos, and also some flowers on either end, including some marigolds and sunflowers. And this is going to be a really interesting bed once the okra grows up and provides a little bit more of a canopy over the smaller plants. And I'm hopefully going to be planting some greens all throughout that bed to maximize that space as well. And then up from that, I have my tomatoes. So I'm growing more smaller varieties of tomatoes this year, including some Thai pink egg, a rainbow cherry variety, and some Roma tomatoes as well. And they've been planted in there in really wide holes with some horse manure in it as well, to have the roots kind of grow out and hopefully produce a lot of fruit. I can already see a few little flowers popping up on some of the plants that I might pinch off, just to make sure that the plant puts all of its energy into growing rather than fruiting and flowering at the moment. And then behind me here I have one of my compost bins set up. And I've put some pepino melons around the compost bin, and I've put the compost bin right at the top of this kind of garden system, garden beds, so that when the compost is done and anytime I water this compost tumbler, all of the nutrients is going to flow downhill and hopefully be captured in some of those contours as well. So we're just filling the compost up with all of our different kitchen scraps, and we go through quite a lot of kitchen scraps, so I'm hoping that we'll have some beautiful compost in no time. So that is a bit of a broad overview of this area. I'll take you up to see another little area that's very shaded to show you what we're growing and what we're harvesting up there. Also behind me I have a little potting area here, and this is honestly where I love to just come down and have a morning cup of tea or something like that, and just have a look at the garden and plan out what I want to do that day, or work on different jobs that I have a full list of different jobs that I need to get done. But I really enjoy coming down here and just sitting and enjoying the garden. We've also got a lime tree growing here, which is loving all of the rain that we're getting. And then also a lemonade tree down here that I think does have one on the tree just in there. And then there's a random pumpkin vine growing here, which is basically doubled in size since we had all this rain. So yeah, we'll just leave him and see how he does. Okay, so this is one of the other areas where I'm growing food, and got a few baby magpies or baby butcherbirds around as well, so they're going to be joining us for this little bit. But this kind of comes up to where the pool area is, and I have quite a few little pots where I'm growing quite a lot of herbs that I kind of lay along the side, because I like to be able to move some of my plants around just depending on the different weather that we get. So this area is really nice and shady, so for those really hot days it's great to just bring the pots in to this area here, so the plants don't get too burnt. But I have some different mints growing over there, some peppermint, some parsley, lavender. I've got some warrigal greens growing out of one of the kind of raised beds with wheels on it. I grew warrigal greens in there I think a few years ago, and I've always just had it popping up. It self-seeds really easily, and it's a beautiful native Australian spinach that has a really nice flavour to it. So I'm going to let that grow in there, and then I'm really excited because some of my dahlias are almost coming out. I see lots of little yellow buds everywhere, so I'm excited for those to come out as well. And then behind me is one of the first beds that I kind of put together, and it's been what we've been harvesting from for the last few weeks in January, so I'll show you what's over in there. So I am so happy to finally start being able to harvest my own greens again, and be able to taste fresh food straight from the garden. Been growing some cos lettuce, which I saved seeds for, and it just seems to grow really well in this environment. It is so delicious, and I just love the smell of fresh lettuce as well. It's so good. So some of those are kind of coming to an end now, and some of the tops are going a little bit bitter, which is perfectly fine, because if your lettuce is starting to go to seed or starting to go a little bit bitter, it's a perfect opportunity to, rather than kind of eating it fresh, it's a great opportunity to just throw it in a stir fry or a curry or something that you're cooking, and therefore it kind of just acts like a spinach. So that's what I'm going to be doing with these cos lettuce as they kind of mature on a little bit, if I can't save some of the seeds from them. I have also been picking some beautiful royal burgundy bush beans. I think purple beans would have to be my favourite beans to grow, just because they look so pretty, and they're also just really easy to see when you grow them, rather than green beans, which can kind of just look like everything else in the garden bed and can be a little bit harder to pick. So I love growing purple beans, and the bush beans here have been really great because they're nice and compact, and the flowers are also super beautiful on the plants as well. They do go green when you cook them, but to be honest, they don't actually make their way to the kitchen. I end up just eating them in the garden anyway. They're the perfect garden snack. And then climbing up behind me here, I have some cucumber plants which are starting to get baby cucumbers on them. I just have not had too much success with them being able to pollinate themselves yet. So I'm hoping, just as some more of the female flowers come along, that we will get some that successfully pollinate, and then we can have some fresh cucumbers as well. And then the last bed that I have behind me here is what I'm growing some more cos lettuce in. And just some flowers as well, and just saving that for when I'm going to be planting some winter veggies in here very soon. I'm hoping that this can be a lot of winter greens in this bed. I've also still been harvesting a lot from my blueberry plant here. I've been saving all of the blueberries because I'm still going to make blueberry muffins. Haven't really got around to it yet, but I'm just waiting for the rest of the blueberries on here to ripen so that I can save these and put them into the freezer as well. It has been a little bit hard because we tend to kind of come out here and snack on them every now and again, so have to take that into consideration. Right, so I'm in my little rainforest nook down here. That's pretty much what the garden is looking like for the month of January and coming into February. Let me know what your garden is doing in the month of January. Are you in a very cold climate where you're not really too active out in the garden, or you're in a subtropical area like me where this is a very busy time for the garden? I typically don't really start getting ready for my winter garden for probably another month or so, just because we can still grow so much here coming into the next few months, coming into March and April even. So there's lots more that I need to plant and do in the garden, so hopefully it'll change quite a lot for next month's garden tour. Just want to say a big thank you for everyone watching these videos. It means a lot to me that people kind of like seeing this kind of content and want to enjoy the garden just like I do. Right, I'm going to go film a little bit more of the garden and then go finish my cup of tea on the balcony, I think. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you're all having a lovely day wherever you are in the world, and until my next video, happy gardening everyone. Bye.